Thank you very much. Jim Cressman here, Matt Sussman, my partner in crime, sitting next to me. And we're hopefully going to have a very informative little session with you all this morning about our flagship product, our lifestyle solution, and its partner, the Select program. We hope this will provide you an opportunity to go back and review some of your clients that have been unfortunately declined, or you weren't able to find coverage for them because of certain health conditions. In many cases, we may be able to turn that into an approval should you review your files, give our underwriting department a call, and see if we can handle the risks that you might have in your portfolio there. We're going to just start with a few statistics in the industry here. Declines are a big thing these days with the stringent underwriting requirements most companies are enforcing, and I'm sure you're well aware of that. And these figures that we have here on the screen show you that in 2012 and 2014, the number of declines that have been experienced in the industry, and you'll see that in all cases, the declaration rate has increased in the 2-year time span between 2012 and 2014. So the industry declines currently, as of 2014 statistics, 27% of applications received. And we're here to hopefully change those numbers a little bit for you all.
And just to kind of compare it to what it was in 2012, in 2012 the average decline was about 25%. So we've seen an uptick in the amount of declines. And that doesn't even consider those individuals who are over the age of 80 as well. So just wanted to also point that out because our products do go up to the age of 85.
Right. And this next screen. An example here just shows a scenario where you could probably increase your commission dollar earnings by having an increased number of your policies approved after submission. You'll see in a scenario of 100,000 in new premiums sold, 27,000 of that premium is being declined on the average, and the additional premium that could be issued would be about $16,200 if you were to possibly consider submitting that to United Security for consideration. Some of the reasons that we want to take a look at your business would be the flexible approach we use in underwriting our risks. We use very deep underwriting scenarios and guidelines, and we still offer unisex rates so that your females aren't paying more than your male applicants would be paying. We have a 60% issue rate on our LSS plan and our Select plan, and you have to appreciate that number says, well, you're only approving 60%. Yeah, but understand what we're usually underwriting are mostly declines. So right there, if you're presenting your declines to us and we're turning around 60% of those, that's not too bad. This figure would be higher if we were getting, young, healthy individuals more so than we do those that are a little bit challenged to underwrite. So we do provide the LSS product, which is a very strong, comprehensive type of a product and has benefits that you can even utilize prior to going on claim. Our home office staff has years of experience in underwriting long-term care risks, and we have the ability to maybe go a little bit further in considering your clients. In fact, we might offer the only option for many of your clients with our high-risk Select product. Here's a little map showing our product availability. We have the product available in 25, our products are in 25 states. Just about all these states have the LSS and the Select product available. There's only 1 or 2 that we don't have it approved in yet, but we're working on that. You'll see the states where we offer plans here. You'll see in the very center 2 columns our tax-qualified long-term care and partnership plans. You'll see LSS 14 at the very top, and then further down it'll be 13, LSS 13, then CCL 3000 and CCL 3000 TQ. Those are the LSS products. We titled them the 14 and the 13 in the most recent states, the most recent versions that we've submitted. But the traditional plan code was CCL 3000 when we first issued it. So those would be the states that you see in this grid where we offer that high-risk product, the LSS Select, titled the CCL 3000 TQ-Select on this grid. Some of the features of the basic lifestyle solution product are shown on this screen. You'll see that we offer benefits from $50 to $350 per day, and we still offer a lifetime benefit in some of the states. The most recent issues, the LSS 14s, I think, are now limited to 5 years of maximum benefit. But for the majority of our states offering the product, we do still offer a lifetime benefit on this program. We have a provide for a 0-day elimination period, 40, 90, 120, or 180 days. The plan is comprehensive in that it includes home care and adult daycare at 100% of the maximum daily benefit. We'll issue the product between ages 40 and 85. It includes built-in waiver of premium, which goes into effect immediately upon the end of the elimination period you choose. So it could be a first-day waiver if you have the 0-day elim. This is, of course, a qualified plan and it's partnership approved in the following states that you see here on the screen. It's a pool of money type of product with 4 risk classes from preferred to standard class 1 and 2. We provide an automatic 15% discount for a married individual purchasing the plan. If both spouses purchase the plan, it's a 20% discount. And we offer 4 inflation riders, 3 and 5 simple and compound. And we include a wellness and a service program.
Yeah, just to interject, Jim, one of the things a lot of people that we talk to believe is just because their client has been declined, they're going to go into our higher risk Lifestyle Solutions Select product, and that's not the truth. In fact, we issue about 65 to 70% of all the business that we get in either Class 1 or Class 2 on the Lifestyle Solutions product. So, again, just because it's been declined doesn't mean it's going to our paired risk plan. We definitely issue more of those policies in our full-blown comprehensive plan in Class 1 and mostly Class 2. Just wanted to kind of elaborate on that a little bit.
All right, here on this screen, you'll see some case studies for the Lifestyle Solution product where we're able to issue the regular program and not even the Select as Matt just mentioned. You'll see the first profile, the 64-year-old female with these different symptoms and was approved at a standard rate. The second one is a 65-year-old male. It's spinal stenosis, has alcohol abuse. You can see the things, I won't read them all on board yet. You can read them yourself. This is approved as a Class 1. And in Class 2, we were able to underwrite this person that had diabetes with hypertension, sleep apnea, and other conditions, but was still available for issue at a Class 2 risk on the regular Lifestyle Solutions program. Our high-risk Select plan. This is the last resort. This is for people who would not qualify for any coverage anywhere else. There's certain individuals still can't qualify for this, of course, if they have, active cancer and so forth. But we will consider people that have early onset Parkinson's and MS under this policy series. The plan is more limited in benefit, but it acts just like the regular Lifestyle Solution in that it's a pool of money type of product. The daily benefit here is limited to a maximum of 150 per day, and you have mandatory minimum elimination periods associated with the plans. It says below there your option A, option B, option C. That's simply a 1-year, 2-year, 3-year benefit period. The option A, 1-year benefit, requires a minimum 90-day elimination period, or you may choose a 120 or 180 for additional premium discounts. That 1-year benefit would include home care at 50% of the maximum daily benefit you select, between 50 and 150. So your max policy, facility-wise, is 150 with a $75 a day home care maximum benefit. Your 2-year option B plan requires a minimum 120-day elim, and the option C 3-year plan is a minimum 180-day elimination period. It's simply a hybrid of our Lifestyle Solution. It's comprehensive, tax qualified, and partnership approved. Pool of money. Discount's a little different here. You have a 10% discount for married individuals purchasing the plan. If both spouses end up with this program, it's still only at 10%. That's the maximum discount for married individuals purchasing it. Should you have a couple purchasing our products and end up one with the Select, one with the Lifestyle Solution regular program, the Select would get the 10%, but we give you the 20% on the regular Lifestyle Solution program to the other spouse. This has the same inflation riders as well, 3 and 5 simple and compound. It does include, however, a pre-existing condition exclusion for the first 6 months. So you have to tell the folks, don't get sick the first 6 months you own the policy. Of course, that's only for pre-existing conditions. If something else would manifest itself and cause them to become involved with a disabling service programs as well, which I'll get into shortly. It's available in all the same states that you've seen before. Pardon me. Here's some sample cases where we could consider issuing the Select program for case studies you see on the screen. 66-year-old who had regular heartbeat. She had chemotherapy, but she's in remission. So there was cancer present here. She actually applied for the 1-year 90-day elimination period benefit. We approved her, however, we required a 120-day elimination period. So, we'll make counteroffers in the conditions in cases like this. We communicate that to the agent and say, look, we can't quite issue what you're requesting. How do you feel? What would you like us to do? Issue a reduced benefit, increase the elimination period. We'll work with you and discuss what you think would be best for your client as far as coming back with a reasonable counteroffer. The second scenario there was applied for as a standard risk, but of course with the conditions present, we had to go to the LSS Select product to be able to issue coverage on case 2. In case 3, the situation was a 64-year-old male with diabetic neuropathy. He's a smoker, chronic back pain, had history of testicular cancer. Not quite sure about that one. A history. How can you have a history of that? I guess it just occurred once. At any rate, he applied as a Class 2 risk, but when the medical report came back, there were probably more extenuating health conditions. But we didn't have to decline it. We made an offer of the LSS Select. I think, Matt, you wanted to say something?
Yeah, let's look at profile number 2, just applied for standard, approved for select. This is a perfect example of an agent who didn't really do, in my opinion, appropriate pre-qualification with the underwriters first. Because everything that we see on this list most likely was on the application. So that's one of the most important things is that, when we're trying to do this with the program we're going to be rolling out shortly, and a true underwriting program, how do we help you as agents better pre-qualify your clients so when you do submit them, you submit them in the best of our ability, as close as the correct underwriting category as we're going to issue it. So this is just, I wanted to kind of point this out. This case obviously should not have been submitted as standard, but the agent really just didn't do a good job in pre-qualifications. And it's so important because what we're finding out today is you may have 1, 2 chances. Very rarely do you have 3 chances if you get the client to go back to the client. So it's so critical, when we talk about underwriting, that we try to do our best the first time around.
Right. The next screen, you'll just see here just a little comparison between the LSS and the LSS Select program. If you look down here, you'll notice one thing about the Select plan is that it has the 50% home care benefit. It has the mandatory elimination period, as I mentioned. But a big thing here is that it does not have a waiver of premium. I mentioned the waiver on the other plan is immediate at the end of the elimination period. The Select plan does not provide a waiver of premium. So you have to be sure to let your client know that. If they go on claim, they're still required to pay premiums. It's for some of these conditions that we put on the product that enable us to offer the product to people with these health conditions. The premiums are higher, but basically for people who have been declined, they said, isn't there someone who will cover me out there? And I can say yes, in many cases there is someone who can cover you, namely the USA plan can cover you probably. And even though the premium may be higher, these people are more than happy to be able to acquire coverage if the agent gives them the opportunity to apply with us for that protection.
The conference is now in talk mode.
We just got a notice that the presentation has been cut. I just unmuted it. Can everyone see the presentation still?
Yeah, well, I can see LSS Select case.
Okay, great. I just want to make sure we got a note here that you couldn't. So I'm going to put you back on mute. Thank you.
The conference is now in silent mode.
Okay. So, as I mentioned here, you want to be sure that your client is aware of that. But believe me, there's a lot of individuals out there who are very happy to find that they now have an option to obtain coverage with the Select program that we offer here at USA. Some of the additional features of this Lifestyle Solution program and the Select program is the Coventry Service program that's associated with this policy. And this is an extra benefit the policy provides its policyholders, which they can utilize prior to going on claim. They don't have to have an active claim. They are given the opportunity for an annual free wellness profile, which is a program where after they've received their policy, they'd receive a letter in the mail and then a follow-up phone call inviting them to participate in an annual wellness profile where they'll have consultation one-on-one with a senior aging specialist, I would call them, with the Coventry Service Program, who would invite them to participate by answering some questions about their overall lifestyle, eating habits, daily activities, so forth and so on. This free consultation basically is designed to give the people a track to run on as they age, so that as they age in place in a healthy type of manner where they're still staying active, they're maintaining a proper type of diet at the suggestion of this consult. It just gives them ways to be safe. Maybe if they're having trouble ambulating around their home, suggestions might be made to put some assist bars, grab bars here and there, remove some carpets or loose carpets that are on a linoleum type of floor to prevent slips and falls and things of that nature. So it's an overall a benefit for both the policyholder and the company, because if we instruct these individuals on how to maybe live a little healthier, live a little longer, of course we're not going to end up paying a claim, are we? And the people are going to enjoy more of a quality of life as they age. So it's a win-win for both the company and the policyholder.
And sorry, just to add, Jim had mentioned about the throw rugs on the linoleum floor and things of that nature. The way we know that is we actually are sending someone out to their house as part of the wellness program to actually do a home assessment, physical assessment test, as well as a safety check. We'll go ahead and we'll make recommendations. You know, if they don't have smoke alarms, put smoke alarms, fire extinguishers, things of that. So it's just one more step in taking the wellness program for a safe home environment as well.
Right. We'll offer a free referral also to individuals that have, you know, certain needs as far as plumbing repairs, home maintenance, outdoor maintenance, shrub maintenance, whatever it may be. To prevent elder abuse, we found that many elderly people are being taken advantage of for different services. We kind of become the Greyhound bus, leave the driving to us. We'll make a warm referral to a reputable vendor who's been checked out by the Better Business Bureau in their community. Of course, we don't pay for the services or goods that they acquire, but we do offer the warm referral to hopefully prevent elder abuse by unscrupulous vendors in their neighborhood. When it comes to care planning, at time of care, when the time comes that they may need some assistance or care, we also provide a care coordination of sorts under this policy. So we'll work to find the best means to provide the appropriate care that the individual needs. So they'll have someone that's going to assist them in the claims process through this company program. Why is it important? And a good asset. It's available before a member becomes, every goes on claim. We promote the positive aging with the items I described before, and they're all free to the policyholder, and it doesn't affect the premium of the policy in any way, shape, or form. So why consider the LSS and Select? Basically, it's our underwriting. The 4 underwriting classes allow us to issue more of your business. We've successfully offered coverage to individuals who have been declined in the past. We had the 60% issue rate we highlighted before. So you might want to stop and think, gee whiz, how many of my clients have I seen over the past year or so that I couldn't help? I more or less closed my book when I was sitting at the table with them and didn't even pursue taking an application. How many of those cases have you run into where there was no use in even filling out an app because they had such things as MS, Parkinson's, or they were highly diabetic with high insulin usage? Think about those clients. We issue this program up to age 85, and the unisex rates are a big deal today. And if you're female clients, you might want to check our rate for the females. If you're writing just a female client, we could well be below what the other companies are charging for the same type of coverage. The plan has the built-in wellness program, and it's designed in collaboration with Johns Hopkins Geriatrics, as we described underwrite and can be used prior to you going on claim. So there's some warm and fuzzy points that you can certainly talk about when selling this product. I mean, sell the bells and whistles of the product along with the fact that we can possibly, cover you, whereas other carriers might not want to look at you twice. With that, I'm going to turn it over to Matt, who's going to continue with the presentation and talk about our basically flexible underwriting, what we look for, what you can do to become a good field underwriter, and how you can get your cases submitted to us for review. Matt?
Thanks, Jim. So the real question is, all the policy benefits, the warm and fuzzies are all great, but if we can't get your client approved, it means nothing. So how do we do that? And why can we underwrite the risks that we do? The reason that we do is we are a monoline company. We solely look at long-term care insurance. We have more than 80 years combined experience in the underwriting side, obviously the claim side, and the agency side. We do use a common sense approach to underwriting. We are not going to issue anything we're not comfortable with. Jim had mentioned MS, Parkinson's. Those are two cases or conditions that we can underwrite, but there's a lot of stipulations that go along with that. For instance, MS, no walker, wheelchair, scooter, no cognitive issues. Are you able to do all your ADLs? Any self-catheterization, things of that nature. So those types of conditions, we individually underwrite. We do look at a logical risk assessment of morbidity versus mortality in the client's comorbid conditions. And that's what we see a lot of. We don't see, majority of the cases coming in that they just have one medical condition, and that's why we're able to underwrite them. It's more the comorbid conditions. So we really do take a close look at these comorbid conditions and say, hey, are we comfortable with the risk? Or are they just going to die? Is it a good risk because they may just die? So we do look at that. Our rates are based on actuary formulas allowing adequate reserve for our future claim obligation. And that's one of the biggest things that we hear all the time is how can you offer someone who has an impaired health condition a policy? Well, the reason is because we're charging for it. We're charging in our LSS Select about 300% more than our standard rating, and we're making limitations to that as well, as Jim had went over in the presentation. So it's all really based on, getting the right premium for the right risk. And we're also utilizing appropriate counteroffers when we need to, higher elimination periods, just like some of our examples said, and longer benefit, less benefit limitations when it comes to higher risk individuals, not giving them, maybe a 5-year plan, but maybe limiting it to a 2-year plan. So some of the things that we look at is, getting the right pre-qualification so you can go to your client with an accurate quote. And I'm a big fan of, calling our underwriting department and saying, hey, this is what's going on with my client. What do you think? Because if you bring as much information to the underwriters for pre-qualification, the chances that you're getting it approved as they did the pre-qualification are very, very high. Now, of course, when we get medical records, all bets are off, or when you take the actual application, there's information on the application that they never shared with you prior. But some of the big things that we see, and some of the things that our underwriters will ask is, hey, are they being treated for what condition? Okay, how often and when was the last time they saw their doctor? Has their doctor advised that the condition is unstable? We need to see stability with these conditions. What medications are you taking? And these all seem like very simple questions to ask, but you'd be very surprised how many agents don't gather enough information for the underwriter to give an accurate pre-qualification. One big thing is, do you see any specialists for this condition? Do you have any limitations? We see all this all the time with people with MS. Do you need any assistive devices, such as a motorized scooter, a cane, or a walker? Big thing is, what's the height and weight? And that's huge, height and weight, because that could be the difference between someone in Class 2 or a Select or a Class 1. So we really need to know a lot of this information. And one of the biggest things is, do you have any significant illnesses, such as the cancers, the diabetes, or any hospitalizations that may go around with that? We've developed a pre-qualification form, and we can get it out to Jennifer. It's also available on our website. That really leads you to all those questions to ask. we have a diabetic, okay? Well, what's the diabetic's A1C level? How long have they been on diabetic? Is there any, repercussions from the diabetes? Do they have any neuropathy? Things of that nature. And it really helps us with the pre-qualification, because that's what it's really all about. We don't know the person until we get full medical records and talk with them on the phone. So the underwriting process is just that. After we receive the application, every applicant gets a phone history interview, and we try to do this within 48 hours of receipt of the application. Medical records are requested automatically when the applicant is over the age of 80. If they're insulin diabetic or have been a diabetic for more than 10 years, if they're applying for 5 years or lifetime benefit period, replace of existing coverage, don't see that a whole lot. Previously declined, and also at the underwriter's discretion when we're doing the personal history interview. Face-to-faces, we used to do a lot more of these face-to-faces, but really what we're doing now is if the applicant hasn't seen a physician in over 2 years, it's going to be an automatic face-to-face or at the underwriter's discretion. Especially with our Lifestyle Solutions Select, that was a mandatory when we first rolled the product out. Every LSS Select applicant was getting a face-to-face interview. But what we have found is talking with the applicant, with a nurse underwriter on staff now, we're able really to get the same information from them, from the doctor records that we're getting when we go out to the house. Obviously there's those people who are going to try to, put the walker in the closet when the agent comes or when a face-to-face comes. We try to really weed that out, but you always have those individuals, and that's why we have clauses in our policy. We peek in all the closets. We peek in all the closets, right? So let's talk about the 5 underwriting sweet spots. Diabetics with mild complications, history of strokes with no residuals, heart disease, history of multiple strokes, TIAs with minimal or no residuals, RA controlled with medications or anti-inflammatory meds, MS, Parkinson's disease, again, very limited symptoms and progression of those 2 diseases. Multiple combinations of cardiovascular conditions such as AFib, history of stroke or heart attack, history of congestive heart failure, cardiomyopathy, coronary artery disease, and multiple bypass surgeries are of the many of them that we consider the sweet spots. And again, it's the comorbid conditions that we look at. So tips for doing business with us. Big thing is with all applications we do require a 2 months premium plus a one-time $25 application fee. And if you're using credit card, because we can do that with the LSS and Select, the Visa, MasterCard, Discover, you don't have to submit any premium. What we'll do is once the policy is approved and we receive the delivery receipt back, then we'll debit the credit card for not only the 2 months, but also the $25 application fee. If the client is declined or they choose not to accept the policy, we do refund back if they do send in premium and refund back the $25 application fee as well. One of the biggest things that we see with applications coming in is that the agent didn't fill it out correctly. Biggest thing is what underwriting category are you applying for? It takes a lot of time and effort for underwriters to try to duplicate the premium when someone does not send in an application correctly and marked correctly. So please try to do that as well. But, really, we make it simple for you. We're going to call you. If we have a counter offer, we're going to call you first and ask you how you want us to issue it. As Jim said, do we want to issue based on your premium, or do you want a dollar benefit that you're trying to accomplish with this client? Whatever it may be, once we have that counter offer, we're not going to issue a policy until we talk with the agent. And as well, we're doing everything in-house, so it's very well tightly controlled. We're doing the phone history interview in-house. We're ordering the medical records in-house. If we have to do a face-to-face, that's the only time we do outside. We use an outside vendor. So we have a lot of tight controls, and we try to turn around the applications as quickly as possible, 3 to 4 weeks at the max, unless we have problems getting the medical records. So how do you get these materials to sell the products and learn more about them? Once you're licensed, you just jump on our website, USAPA, where you can really find everything. Big thing is you can also download the quoting software that will allow you to quote these products. Also, if you subscribe to Stratecisions, we are on Stratecisions for the LSS and select products as well. So I'm going to leave this slide up for just a little bit. This is our contact at the office. The 800-872-3044 is the main number. We don't really use extensions here because we do have a live operator who will answer the phone. But any of the underwriters, when you call in, just say I have a pre-qualification, or if you want to check the status of a policy, you can either call us or call Jen, and her team will help out and get you what you need. I know we're kind of limited on time, so we want to thank everyone for taking their time today to learn a little bit more about United Security Assurance. And also, I hope this is also going to put more dollars back in your pocket, because we now have options that you may not have been aware of to insure those clients who have previously been declined or tough cases that you thought you could never submit, or even they were over the age of 80. So again, we appreciate it. We're going to open up for questions at this time.
The conference is now in talk mode.
Yes, also I want to quickly ask Jen, I think from the previous webinar, emails of the pre-qualification form, which is available to all the agents. You can obtain that from us or from GoldenCare. They should have that pre-qualification form. It'll be very helpful for you to just quickly go back to some of your clients that were declined or you never bothered took an app on. Complete that, send it in. We can come back and give you a yes or no as to the feasibility of underwriting that risk. So I'll open the floor to questions. If anybody has some, please go ahead.
Yeah, this is Chris House from Indiana. How can we get copies of these slides?
GoldenCare will be sending out a copy of those slides.
Okay, great.
So one of the questions we hear often, and I kind of addressed it, but I want to make sure is, we get this all the time. How can you guys underwrite the business that you do? And as I had mentioned with the select product, we are charging what we believe is the right premium for the risk. We tested these products out. When we first rolled it out in 2009, these products, we tested in the state of Pennsylvania, and based on what we found out, we did need to make some changes, and then we rolled it out to the rest of the country, the current state. So we review the pricing of this. We review whether we needed to go to gender specific, and this time we're very comfortable in the premium that we have and also being able to offer unisex rates. So that's a big question. How can you do it? And it's just based on a comfort level in the industry, and pretty much this is all we do, as I had mentioned, the monoline company.
Who's walked away from a client with MS? Anybody out there?
Got a question for Indiana. Some of the slides weren't clear. Is the program not available in Indiana, or just Deficit Reduction Act partnership not available?
That's a great question. So we do have the product available in Indiana. The partnership plan is not available in Indiana.
Okay, that's clear.
Thank you. Good question.
Are you available in California with and without partnership?
That's a touchy subject because we actually were in the process of being approved for California, and we actually pulled back on California based on some of the new regs out there. So that is a state we are not marketing in yet. We do anticipate in the future to have product in California, but I can't give you a time frame on that.
What about New York?
New York's a tough one. New York, you actually have to have a physical presence in the state. Yeah, I could pretty much comfortably say in the next 5 years, I don't see us having product in the state of New York, but anything could change.
Imagine picking up an ordinary brown box from your doorstep.
What's that? Was that a question, or was that a TV in the background?
What's your history for your premium increases?
We've had one rate increase in our history. It occurred in 2005 or 6. We had 4 plans that were available in Pennsylvania, Ohio, just a couple states that had rate increases of 20%. 3 plans had a 20% rate increase, and a tax-qualified product had a 25% rate increase. And that was 2005 or 2006. That's it for the company. I mean, we've been doing this for over 30 years. We started with this in 1983, so we're 30 plus years doing nothing but underwriting home health care and comprehensive care. We still are one of the few companies that offer a standalone home health care product too. For those of you who have an interest in that, I don't know if you do, but we still sell quite a bit of it because people are finding the cost of traditional comprehensive plans to be somewhat prohibitive in some cases, and many people simply, they don't want to think about nursing facility or system. They want to stay at home. And for those people, it's attractive. Oh, I can buy a plan that pays for care in my home. That's what I want. If I ain't going, I ain't leaving my home. So you give them what they want. You can try to coach them, but give them what they want ultimately, and that's why we still maintain a traditional home health care product, standalone.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Don't offer limited pay options, correct?
No, we don't. We do not. It's a lifetime pay option.
Offer one other question. Do you offer any kind of association discounts?
We only have association franchise type group product in the state of Pennsylvania right now. It's the only state where we have an approval for that type of an additional discount.
And it's a 10% discount for associations in PA on the LSS product line only.
Right.
Good question.
I have, sorry for all these questions. I came in late. Another question, you keep talking about declines. Do you look at, does your underwriting look, it's hard not to be biased if you see a decline. How does that really,
Well, no, we don't. We, believe it or not, we probably issue here in our company more policies to people that were declined than anyone else. Because it seems as though most of the agents who come to us are only coming to us after they've been declined by Mutual Omaha or some other carrier. They're only coming to us with their declines number 1. So we end up issuing mostly policies or applicants who were declined elsewhere. So that doesn't scare us at all because the person was declined.
We're actually thankful.
We expect that, more or less.
right, and that's your market. One thing, it just blows my mind away with field underwriting that so many of my prospective clients are getting physical therapy, and it's usually like for a sore back, stiff hip, and the other carriers are always putting a 3 to 6 month wait. And they don't really even look at what the issues are, I don't think, in terms of PT. So how do you treat that? It's kind of...
It really depends on what the condition it is. But to make a blanket statement, most of it is probably 6 months wait on physical therapy. But there are some cases, that we will issue or will consider if they are currently taking physical therapy. It's limited, but there are some conditions.
It would be helpful to get that information. So, for example, there's a lot of people that have had hip replacements and problems with those hip replacements.
That could certainly be a 6 month.
Yeah, that would probably be.
If not longer.
Many cases are specific. The best suggestion I could make would be to just call our 800 line and ask the underwriting department and ask them some of the questions you might have relative to physical therapy, post, operations or post-injury or what have you, and see what their slant might be on that. Because they'll have different for different conditions, as Matt said. It's not just, it's not guaranteed that it's an automatic 6 month exclusion.
Okay, thanks.
Sure.
I mean, it brings up the point. we really do try to find ways to issue business. Now, we're not going to issue any business that's going to, hurt the company that we're aware of. We're not going to issue business that we don't feel is a good risk to the company. But if we can tweak it a little bit, like adding a longer elimination period, or maybe putting in the select with that 6-month pre-X condition, those are the ways that we can issue the business, protect the company, pay for future claims.
That makes sense.
Great question. Thank you.
We have to cover the cost of obtaining the medical records, so we'd rather issue the business and collect premium to cover that cost than decline it. Some of your carriers will look at the app, they just say no. With those conditions, we're not going to do anything. Well, they haven't spent one nickel for a medical record. They're just looking at it at the surface and declining it. So it hasn't cost them any real money to investigate the risk any further than glancing at the app. Where we'll glance at the app and say, yeah, there's something going on here, but we need medical information to make an accurate call in this case. So we're spending that money to enable us to hopefully provide a positive response and issue the product. So that's our objective, to issue as much business as we can.
And it does help having, different underwriting classes that we utilize all the time. So, where other carriers, it's an accept or reject, or there's, 1 or 2 or 3 underwriting classes, we have, really the deepest breadth in the industry regarding underwriting, so we can take it that much further. So.
Great. Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions? Feel free to give us a call. We'd love to hear from you. We're here to help you make more dollars. And I think if you go back and look through some of your files, I would have to imagine there've got to be people there that you could be helping simply by submitting them to us for consideration. With that, I'll say thank you for your time. Jen, thanks again. We'll be in touch. We appreciate the opportunity to speak with you all again. Have a great day.
Good showing, everyone.
Thank you.